Hey folks, it's Nate. And those of you in the SWBCrawler community, or maybe that follow me on social media, know that about, I don't know, a month ago, I picked up a Bestop Trektop Glide for the wife's JKU. And right now I'm about to record a video that I never really thought I was going to have to record. So stay tuned to find out why I, as a 20-year Bestop customer, am not too pleased with this top. There are certain companies within the industry that a lot of us that have been around for a long time just sort of implicitly trust. I mean, maybe not everybody does, but I do, right? A name like Bestop carries some weight because they've been in this industry forever. And I've owned four maybe, of their different tops for different models of Jeeps. I've seen them used on lots of vehicles, not just my own. I have personally purchased a Bestop Super Top for YJ, which spanned two YJs. I have the Trektop NX on the LJ. I have now the Trektop Glide on here, and I've had some various other Bestop products, like I had a bikini top from them for the YJ and a few other things. They've been around forever. They've been making tops for Jeeps forever. They even make the factory top. They designed the factory tops for the JK and I think the JL, maybe even the TJ, for Chrysler and now FCA. So you could say that they are a trusted name in the industry. So when we wanted to get rid of the hard top on this Jeep and buy a soft top, the obvious choice was Bestop. I didn't even think about any other manufacturer. So all we did is went to Bestop's website, picked out a top that was in our price range and fit my wife's style needs, and we ended up with the Trektop Glide. Pretty cool top. I'll do a review on it after this video. I wanted to get this video out first because we ran into a single problem with it. And Bestop has been less than helpful in trying to fix the problem. Now, I'm still in the process of troubleshooting with Bestop, so if I get proper satisfaction from them, I will update the description of this video, because I don't know if that's going to happen before the video is released. But here's the deal. The top is nice. I like the way it looks. It feels like it's quality. The real problem is one thing that I consider to be a design flaw, and that's right here at the corner of the rear window. Now, we put the top on. It was actually the weekend before I went to the Jamboree, which was about a month ago. So I got the top installed. It was a dry week, no rain at all. When I'm at the Jamboree, I get a call from my wife because it rained, I think, the night we got there or something. Or maybe the day I went up, whatever. It was a pretty nice weekend otherwise. But it rained at some point while my wife was driving the vehicle, okay? And she said, there's a leak. Water is pouring in at the upper corner of the back door, which is where the kids sit, right? I don't want them to get all wet. And, you know, that's not cool. So I thought I must have installed something wrong or whatever. As soon as I got back from the Jamboree, I sent Bestop an email to their customer service email address, sent them pictures and said, is this installed right? Because it's leaking. And I got no response for about a week. So I finally called them, said, hey, did you get my thing? Because the first thing I got was a, hey, we're under heavy load, blah, blah, blah. If you want a quicker response, please call us. So after a week, I called them. And the first answer I got was, oh yeah, the Trektop Glide on the JKU is known for that. What? It's known for that? I paid $1,200 for this top. It should not be known for leaks. If it's known for leaks, you shouldn't sell it. You should redesign it. Take it off the market, redesign it, re-release it. Why are you still selling it if it's known for leaks? Now, I don't know how many, if there's some tiny percentage of these things that leak when people install them, but that made me go and search online. And sure enough, I found all over the forums people with the exact same problem that I have getting the exact same answer from Bestop. I was a tad frustrated. So I do want to say that I am by no means trying to tell anybody to steer clear of Bestop. I still think that they are one of the best soft top manufacturers on the market. They have lots of products out there. I think that this one just happens to have a design flaw that hasn't been solved yet. And I hope that this can solve my problem, and I hope maybe it'll help Bestop solve theirs, because there's a lot of people on the internet that are having the same complaint as I am about this top. And if I had not blindly trusted Bestop and went out and done some research before I bought this top, I wouldn't have bought it, because there's lots of people out there saying it leaks. Now, he didn't just say it's known for that and leave me alone. he gave me some suggestions, which were to take some of that sticky foam tape and try to seal up. There's a little bit of a gap right here. And I'll get you a better shot of that, and I'll get you a better close-up of what the actual problem is, because I think I have figured it out. To make a long story short, I've been back and forth with Bestop, calling them 3 times because they never respond to emails, which I don't know what the deal is there. Why have an email address if you're not going to respond to it? So as of 3 days ago, actually that was 2 days before the weekend. Today's a Sunday. I think it was Wednesday of this past week was the last contact I had with Bestop's customer service when I called them again. Supposedly they are reviewing pictures I've sent them with their quality folks, and they're going to get back to me. They were going to call me back Wednesday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's been a while. I got a little impatient, so I went to some forums online. Not even forums. Somebody in another Facebook group that I'm part of said that they had just bought a Bestop, and they were actually asking a completely different question, and I said, hey, which top did you get? And that started a conversation. The conversation I had online led to another owner of the Trektop Glide on a JKU. He has soft, or half doors, right? So it's a slightly different scenario, but it uses the same surround and the same design of the back window as this one does. His does not leak, and he gave me some tips on how he has things installed. And so I decided today to come out here and try out a couple things. What he suggested to me doesn't work, but I believe I found a solution. So this video is for 2 reasons. One, I want people who are looking to buy a Trektop Glide to see this video and know what they're getting into for $1,200. And 2, I want people who already have them or perhaps want to buy them, or maybe even Bestop themselves, to see what I've done to resolve this. Because to say that I'm disappointed in the way this whole thing has been handled. Now, I want to be clear that Bestop customer service has told me that if we can't solve this, I'm still covered by their refund. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee where you send them the top back and they send you back your money. I'm outside of that 20 days now, but they assure me that because I've engaged their support and we've been trying to fix the issue, that I'm still covered. I don't know if that's the case. I really don't want to send the top back. 98% of this top I love. I love the way it's designed. I love the way it folds up and down. I like the fit and polish. It's a very nice top. It's a very quiet top. I like it. I don't want to have to send it back. Plus, it's a hassle. But I can't have a top that leaks. Not for my wife's vehicle. If it were mine, it's parked in the garage all the time. It only leaks sometimes. It's not in the rain often. Whatever, I might live with it. Now, $1,200 for a top that leaks is really frustrating. But I digress. What I'm going to do is show you guys the leak, show you guys how to reproduce the leak, and then show you how I've solved the leak, or how I think I've solved the leak. Time will tell if I've truly solved it, but I think I have a solution. I have, currently, the passenger side of the Jeep is not leaking. I'm going to redo it on the driver's side, and we'll see if I can reproduce my fix. So, first of all, let's show you the leak. Okay, so I have spent the majority of my career working in a field where I need good troubleshooting skills. Granted, that's in IT, not in automotive, not in soft top leak sorting, but the method stands true. The first thing you need to be able to do when troubleshooting a problem is reproduce the problem reliably. And that's the first thing I figured out. If you take a bucket of water, or just a cup of water, you can take a coffee mug and get this done, but I happen to be using this bucket because it holds more than a coffee mug. You take this and you pour it right here. Water will run down this drip rail and right down here. Now, if it's enough water, it runs up and off of the back of the top here. And I'll have a closer up view of this that you guys can see better. You can see there's kind of a flap here that goes down. And I think what's supposed to happen is the water is meant to run off of that and never get to where the leak is. It gets to where the leak is. And I have a close-up video I'll show you of how the water actually gets inside. But what happens is it runs through here. Some of it gets beneath this lip and runs at the bottom of this drip rail, right? And then it gets right into this corner. This corner has a little bit of a gap, tiny bit of a gap. But anyone who's ever had a leak in a vehicle can tell you, all you need is a little bit of a gap. I mean, a tiny gap will let water in, and water will come in and it will run all over the place, and you'll never be able to figure out where it's actually getting in through. Okay, so in a nutshell, here's the problem. Water hits this drip rail, runs back this way, down here. This is where the window seal sort of sits, kind of overlaps this. The problem is right here where this cable runs, you can see the cable, where this cable runs, as anybody that's ever dealt with water knows, water will follow something like that. What's happening is the water runs off here, and anything that does not go here, which I think is how it's designed to go, anything that doesn't run there, anything that drips down here, follows this cable along here, gets onto this little shelf, and runs down here. At this point, it's inside the Jeep. It pulls here and runs back this way, and down in here, down the inside of this pillar, not pillar, you know what I mean, inside of this door guard, and then right down to where we see the water. So reliably reproducing the problem is step one. Once you can reliably reproduce it, then you need to start troubleshooting, right? Troubleshooting is a whole bunch of trial and error, and I've been through probably 3 hours of trial and error since I started working with this top, and that's frustrating in itself. What I'm going to show you now is what happens inside the Jeep. You'll see why I am so utterly frustrated by all this. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, he just dumped a bucket of water right in the problem area. Of course it leaked. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't take a lot of water to make it leak, and it happens when it's raining. All it takes is to park this vehicle on a slight upward grade, like it is right here in the driveway, and a decent enough rainfall to come in that it gets into those drip rails and runs backward. That's all it takes, and it pours in just like you just saw. So it's not like I'm doing something special to make this happen. I'm pouring a slow amount of water onto the top, and running it down that drip rail, and it goes straight in there. If I were to take a garden sprinkler and put it on my porch here and let it run onto the top of the Jeep to simulate rainfall and have it sit here in this same position like it is now, I guarantee you it would do the same thing. That's not an okay thing. Most soft tops, if you spray water in just the right spot, they're going to leak because they're soft tops, right? Soft tops are not as well sealed to the elements as a hardtop might be, or even as a full-bodied vehicle. Hardtops themselves leak. I mean, just look at all the complaints that people have with their JK Freedom tops. They leak because every time you have a seam, you have a chance for a leak. Soft tops are full of seams. They're all full of zippers, they're full of rails, they're full of hooks, they're full of Velcro. It's easy to have leaks if you don't, if you were to take a pressure washer to the side of the Trek top on my LJ, which has been freaking spot on, it's never leaked, I guarantee you I could make it leak. But in this case, I'm not doing that. I'm just putting water on the top. It's running down in the drip rails like it's supposed to. It's running back the drip rails like it's supposed to. And it's coming in the sides of the windows like it's not supposed to. So, let's get to the point. How am I going to fix this? So, I'm going to tell you now that Bestop recommended I get that sticky tape and try to put it on, well, their words were something like, put it either inside the window or on the door frame to try to seal up that gap. Now, they didn't give me any directions other than that. You'd expect that on an issue that they claim other people are reporting and they claim they can solve by putting putting sticky foam tape on there, they would give me a little more information as to how they fixed it. So, after several hours of trial and error, several attempts with nitrile camper tape, which I picked up at Napa. This is the stuff that you get a truck with a truck bed, right? And you get a cap for that truck. They'll put this stuff between the truck, right, and the top. I got some of that stuff, and I started tinkering around. And I'm going to show you what I did on, well, I'm going to show you in action as I'm trying to fix it on the driver's side, what I've already done to fix it on the passenger side. Because you never make a video like this until you have a solution. All right, so first thing I gotta do is get this window out of the way. All right, now, right here is the problem. Basically, what you've got here is, here's the drip rail, and here's a little shelf. That shelf runs straight into this cavity right here where my finger is. That cavity is inside the top window. It's inside all the seals, so you can guess where the water goes, inside the Jeep. It comes in, it runs down here, as you can see from these drips, and then right along the inside of here where you should have seen it when I recorded from inside the Jeep. Now, I'm going to dry this out a bit so we can test better later. This is another key component of troubleshooting. Make sure one test doesn't bleed into the next. Next thing we want to do is we want to make a piece of foam that fits just right. Now, what I did on the other side is I made kind of an L-shaped piece of foam by cutting a piece of that sticky foam into a shape that goes here and down and just beneath this cable. If you can make a little barrier that prevents this shelf from getting into here, then you solve the problem. The idea is to fit it here and overhang a bit there. So what we're going to do is just sort of cut a little bit here. Trying not to cut my fender. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm cutting on my fender here. So the piece I've made looks like that, just by cutting out. I also want to make this a little bit shorter. Just like that. Okay, now we take this and we're going to put it in here. Now ideally you want to be able to get this cable kind of out of the way. You can do that simply by lifting up on the top, because the cable runs through this outer seam of the top. You can lift it up just a bit. So now that that's there, this should prevent water from getting past here on this ledge and down inside. I'll show you a better angle here. So right here, see this little, I basically put a stopper here. This is where the water runs. And this is meant to stop the water from running this way and in. This is meant to stop it there and make it run out here, which is where the water is supposed to go, down the outside of this rail. So now what I'm going to do is take the window and put it all back in here. Then we're going to try our test again. Here we go. Did you see any leaks? Because I don't see any leaks. So look, I'm not trying to talk bad about Bestop. I still think they are one of the best, if not the best choice for a soft top. Personally, I just feel like this is one of those products where they did the best job they could in the initial design, and it just has a few quirks in it. I don't know how old the Trektop Glide is, you know, when they designed it, when they released it initially, but I get the feeling it's not a very old model. The Trektop Glide has a new feature in it that you can not only sunrider, you know, flop the front part of the top back, but then you can fold the whole thing down like you can the factory top and get a full open air feel, and that's what was attractive to us. It also gives the kids sun, where the standard Trektop only opens the driver passenger seat. The Trektop Glide opens to the rear seats as well. So what we're going to do is get a spiderweb shade for the rear of the Jeep like we have in the front of the Jeep, and then we can all enjoy the sun on nice days. These are really attractive features to me. That's why I like the top. That's why I really don't want to send it back over the leaking problem. But I can't have a leaking top either. So, at any rate, this is a long-winded way of saying I like Bestop. Previously, I've had great customer service from Bestop. I don't know if this is a pandemic thing. I don't know if this is a current staffing problem. I don't know if it's a growing pain problem. Maybe the company has gotten too large. I don't know any of that. All I know is I've been a loyal Bestop customer for a very long time. I've never had a problem with them until now. In fact, when I got the Trektop NX for the LJ, which is right behind the camera right here, that's why I'm pointing this way when I talk about it, there was a small tear in the rear window. I don't know if I caused it during install. I don't know if it came that way. I don't know if it was a bad stitch, whatever. They sent me a whole new window. Almost no questions asked. I just had to send them a picture of the hole. They didn't even ask, you know, they didn't even try to accuse me of installing it improperly or something. I had a similar problem where months after I got it, I noticed a small tear in a seam above, in the main body of the top, right above the driver's side door. And it was so small that it wasn't leaking or anything, but the top was still very new at the time, and I just didn't want to deal with having a problem with it. So I wrote them, and I said, look, this is the thing. They asked me to send a picture. I sent them a picture. They sent me a whole new center section for the top. I haven't even installed it yet because there's no leak. I figured I'll keep it until there is a leak, right? But that's the sort of customer service that I expect from Bestop. And I suspect that had it come to a point where the part was defective, they would have quickly sent me a new one. This is a troubleshooting problem. This is a thing where they need me to try this, try that, whatever, to try to solve the problem. So now that I do have it fixed, I'm going to get some pictures of it, maybe video, maybe even just show them this video and say, look, this is how I solved the problem. Maybe they can change the design so that people in the future don't have this issue. But I can say that right now, in August of 2020, if you buy a Trektop Glide, you may have this issue, and this is how I solved it. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope this has helped somebody that has a Trektop Glide and has the leaking problem, or maybe that is considering buying a Trektop Glide, because to say I was disappointed by all this is a bit of an understatement. So remember to check out SWBCrawler.com, where you can get hats and t-shirts and neck gaiters and support the channel. Last but not least, remember, get out there and wheel, and I'll see you in the next one.
Doing good, just come straight. Yep, keep going. Not a problem. How was that?
Oh,
You okay?
I took a picture of her first.
You left a mark on the rock.